But okay, Draconian floor, not too sketchy at the end of the day here. Probably even played it more cautiously than we had to. Except at the end there, where I just gave up and started tab fighting into everything, but it is what it is. But yeah, to fully answer your question from earlier, Railbird, I think electronics is my main hoarding thing. Electronics and building materials in general. I'm pretty big into like carpentry hobbies and stuff like that. I currently don't have the tools to really do any of it, so that's why a lot of that stuff just sits around. But I know like I can and that I love to. Anytime I visit my parents' place, they have just a huge like cornucopia of wood shop tools, and I adore it. I absolutely love it. So one day I like to think that I'll have the tool set, maybe make a nice spot in my garage where I can have all the things, a nice bandsaw, some drills, all sorts of saws really is a big part of it, just so that I can actually get productive with all the bits and bobs. But yeah, definitely have a tendency to hoard those two things, electrical gear and construction equipment, or construction materials, I should say. I would love to hoard construction equipment, but that sounds like an exceptionally expensive hobby that is completely and utterly unrealistic for somebody in my current spot in life. But again, maybe one day when I'm rich and famous, wouldn't that be nice? And build a destructive laser to blow up the moon. Well, I'm not going to talk about my secret evil mastermind plans on stream. Let's not be ridiculous. But we all know what lasers are good for, of course. Never know when you're gonna come up with a cool life hack, right? Exactly, the infinite money glitch. That's definitely what I tell myself. And crazy thing is, a lot of times I actually kind of believe it. I have an unreal expectation towards my own, I don't even know, luck. I think it's the big thing. It's not even that I think I'm exceptionally talented, intelligent, determined. None of these. Stubborn, yes, but not so determined. But boy, am I lucky. So maybe, just maybe. Except, weirdly enough though, I don't buy lottery tickets. I feel like I've done enough math courses and probability courses to not fully dive into the lottery, even though, going by what I just said regarding luck, it seems like it would be right up my alley, really. Okay, let's get some firestorms going on all of my new undead pals here. Again, this is one of the few floors that does terrify me. Until you have something like Necromutation online, these can very quickly have the turns table. So we'll be cognizant, cautious. All the good C words, not the bad ones. And hopefully that leaves us in a half decent spot for moving forward here. We can at least kill a lot of these skulls as they come in with firestorms, so that's much better than the last time I went through this experience. For more context, I believe I was running like a dragon form manifold assault character with ignition, of course. And so I was pretty much relying on those, which are kind of garbage. The manifold assault dragon form, still great. But unfortunately, you lose a lot of your defenses going to dragon form, and you kind of get overwhelmed pretty quickly, even with manifold assault. Ignition completely out the window once you have too many of these kind of fireproof tormentors. But turns out, firestorm, kind of sick, kind of awesome. Polar vortex, I guess, is another spell I think I had on that aforementioned run, and yeah, polar vortex does not do the trick, unfortunately. Not quite. Still end up with a lot of enemies sneaking through, at least long enough to rain down the torment from on high, which is where the main crux of the issue comes into play, I feel, in these ziggurat floors. But nothing we can't handle for the moment here. Again, we can kind of just tap fight through the rest of that, and yeah, going very smoothly, as one would hopefully expect at this stage in our journey. You never know. I'm waiting for a dis floor, I think, is still, or pan. Pan floors are where things get very interesting because, hey, speak of the devil. Because much like life, you never know what you're going to get. And so this is where things get interesting. We have a mixture of Hell Sentinels, as well as, of course, just a host of lovely Panlord friends to show up and to teach us the meaning of Christmas here. So never know how things are gonna tumble out here. I'll bring in my Spellforge Servitor at the very least. Keep just launching firestorms into the heat. This buddy, as we saw a minute ago, not too bad. Painbrand, when we are fully statue formed, or rather stoned out of our mind here, I'm not too worried about a Painbrand. Blink Bolt is nothing. It's usually when you have like silence you want to be on the lookout for. Maybe something like Firestorm, Polar Vortex, any of the high level magic is not great, but also not the end of the world really. Generally you can kind of make your way through even with those nastiness. Those bits of nastiness, I should say. But yeah, regardless, not too shabby here. I think we'll do one more shot. Sorry, Spellforge Servitor had to be done. Collateral damage is a son of a gun sometimes, but such is life. And then we should be able to tab fight our way through the rest of our new friends here. And yeah, not too bad. That was a very light version, as one would expect from the first cigarette here. But once you're starting to get to where most of this floor is filled with unique Panlords, oh boy, are you in for quite the ride of your life. It's usually at that point that you're hoping for branches like this. Again, any of the S branches are a godsend, because you just do one of those and most things are dead. Think like pretty much everything on the screen here. Okay, yeah, a couple of you just barely surviving, some new faces coming in as well. But I'm sure you can imagine just how much of a relief this is after constant pan and disc floors left and right as far as the eye can see. Kind of just hold down and tab. Even if we had like a bunch of Merfolk Javelineers, I'm not too concerned at this point in the game. They die too quickly to really pay any dividends. But not too shabby. We'll run through, pick up everything. And beautiful. This is why you end up with infinite money on most Gozeg characters in a Ziggurat run. I mean, occasionally, again, that last character, I went through a phase of like, I think it was 4 or 5 complete Ziggurat clears that I didn't really make any money. I was constantly running into disc floors that I wasn't able to deal with and just spending everything on constant potion petitions, usually a couple blink scrolls while I was at it too. Definitely less than ideal. But eventually made my way out of the rut, specifically when I got Shatter and Necrotation online, and then I suddenly had just like a nice varied toolbox that was able to take care of pretty much anything that came our way. And as long as you can survive, pretty much guaranteed to see that kind of eventuality, because there is an infinite amount of experience to you at this stage in the game, so you just kind of keep on keeping on here. Should also do a check at our Zot clock, 26,875 turns. This is the last time we'll see that. Look at that, playtime of just under 13 hours of actual playtime. Interesting. I guess for us, this week was gonna bring it to like 28 hours, is that right? Or did I double one too many times? 14 hours. Oh, it's actually kind of reasonable. 3.5 hour sessions. This is session number 4. Not too bad. Ocean of experience. And it's kind of liberating not to have to pick up and carry all these around with me. This is actually one of my favorite unranned arts in the game, Maxwell's Thermic Engine. Such a cool weapon. You get the cold and fire effect, and as you fight it continues to increment and upgrade its enchantments. Super fun, especially if you get it early on. It's so powerful, and a very, very good time will be had by all. Keep just chugging that experience for no real reason whatsoever. In fact, where did we leave off here? Fighting, we got Manual Force, that'll probably hit 27 soon. Spellcasting and fighting both on their way to full maxed out. We're on 17, which, you know, we're closer to the end than the start in number of floors maybe, but I would not say in how things will be ramping up difficulty wise here. I'm hoping that it still will be very reasonable and nothing we can't handle, of course, but it will start to get a little crowded, even in these giant chambers, as we continue on. I'm actually looking at it. I feel like I'm not completely on the up and up when it comes to all of the strategies that go into a Mega Ziggurat character, but I do believe that we're in one of the better shapes. You want, I think, and definitely people in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong, or on YouTube as well. Let me know if you know better. I believe it's the circle is what you really want. You want really high monster density around you so that you can immediately start killing stuff and kind of work in your foothold, especially depending on what kind of style you run. If you're casting Infestation or something like that, you definitely want to just get the murder hammering down as soon as possible. Bring out, you know, that Polar Vortex, Shatter. Suddenly everything's dying around you super fast, which then drops gold, and all that gold furthermore distracts the enemies around you, and it just keeps snowballing so that you end up clearing the floors in a relatively safe manner, with most of the enemies distracted before they can do anything to you. But we shouldn't rather have to worry about that for now. Oh my gosh, another merfolk floor? Okay, now it feels bad. Now it feels like bullying. Well, I guess we'll just kind of blitz our way through here. Again, Javelineers. Almost kind of feel bad for you at this stage in the game. I say kind of flippantly because I don't feel bad even in the slightest. You've murdered far too many of my my favorite characters for me to turn my my lips up at the idea of murdering you, or rather not turn my lips up at the end of the day here, but not too shabby. And let's just finish collecting all of our goods here. Ziggurat 19. Oh my gosh, they're flying by. Maybe this character is just way stronger than the last character I came through a Ziggurat with. I feel like I was struggling in my first few Ziggurats. In before everything goes to heck in a handbasket. I mean, Draconians, we have purple Dracos, so things could get rough, don't get me wrong. Have to be on our toes for the worst of all worlds here. Using Ziggs go into the 100 plus with the Gozag General Necromutation. You should done with Potion Petition using Haste, Brilliance, level 9 spells, Polar Vortex, and Shatter. That pretty much sounds like my most recent Mega Ziggurat character in a nutshell. I think I was still kind of using Dragonform Manifold Assault for a long time because I liked it so much. But lately it's swapped over to Necromutation, especially since on that character I have Orange Crystal Plate. And so I got to where Dragonform was castable in Orange Crystal Plate, but it's way better doing something like Necromutation that doesn't absorb your armor, because that leaves my spellcaster with like, I want to say 55 or 60 AC, which is wild, and still casting all these level 9 spells, no problem. So definitely, once you get to a certain point, you start rampaging through, but it was before I had Necromutation and Shatter that there were specific vaults or Ziggurat floors that the theme I just had no real counter to, and it was slightly terrifying for quite a while there. It's funny how the difficulty definitely goes in a bit of a roller coaster, because now I think the only thing that really terrifies that character the last time I played them were the pan floors, because you don't really know what to expect from all the pan lords, and that's where you can get into really nasty combination of abilities, or combinations I should say, of abilities that are whacking fun in all sorts of ways. But again, not something we'll be too concerned about here as we head into Ziggurat floor 21. More merfolk, please. Oh, holy floor. Okay. Here's where things get interesting. At least most of these enemies are not fire resistant, so that's nice. But on the other hand, most of them can kind of wreak havoc on us, for all intents and purposes. So let's try to be cognizant of that. I mean, we're not even buffing, which we potentially should be going into this. I mean, again, I have plenty of money, so why the heck not? Let's try and get something like Brilliance. Or, you know, all the Brilliance could be combined with Rage, or Berserk, rather, so never mind. Oh, yes, I don't mind a bit of collateral damage. Thank you, Spellforge Servitor, for your understanding in such matters. You will be compensated for your time and any damages dealt to you or your loved ones throughout the course of your employment here at Torinski Incorporated, and I appreciate you for all your sacrifices. Thank you. Thank you, amen. Good day, sir. Okie dokie. Let's keep our Spellforge Servitor around. Let's go with another quick petition here of the potion variety. Just blast some of these Kiddlywinks. Ooh, okay, that tickles for sure. Swap me. Swapsies. Thank you. And then fortunately I can kind of poke from afar here, so that's lovely. Bit of irradiation to assist, and not too shabby. Okay, so that's probably one of the worse off floors for us. No real issues. Take a peek around for any goodies that we want to take forward. More blinking is lovely. I'm feeling like we'll be okay in the orb run. Generally, on extended characters, you'd kind of hope so, seeing as how they've already fought through that hell and back quite a few times, actually, but never know when things are going to take a turn for the nasty there, so I'm happy to have as many extra tools at our disposal as possible. Oh, and I also forgot, my amulet is just standard regen and my boots are just normal boots. I should probably be looking out for replacements in both those departments. Huh. How about that? Oh, I did get an Octo ring. I love these. Not amazing rings, but very fun. And it's an unrandar, so what can I say? I'm a bit of a sucker at the end of the day. But okie dokes. Zig 21. Nothing like the present. Let's just blast through these last few floors and then we can get ready to get the heck out of here. Hopefully. That's the dream, at least. We'll see how she goes. Let's blast all of y'all. This looks like a swamp floor, so I'm very, very pleased to see that. Definitely one of the more reasonable places one may find themselves adventuring. And in fact, can probably just servitor up. It's much like lawyering up, but instead of giving you safety and security and any possible or potential legal ramifications, it instead gives me complete carte blanche to just tab my way through ridiculous sums of enemies, maybe the occasional ignition, just to keep things, you know, exciting, keep things explosive, if you will. And perfect. Then should just be able to spam our way through. Beautiful stuff. Not too shabby. Pick up all the goodies on our way out. I almost shouldn't even bother with the experience potions at this point, but I think we gotta. Are we just training evocations? Oh, and shields. Shields is so pointless. Yeah, we'll keep it. Maybe let's add throwing onto there. In fact, we'll focus down throwing just for funsies. Wait a second. Zig 23, give me a reason to use a javelin, please. Oh, ghost floor. Actually, I take back my assessment earlier about the only floors that still scare me on a, like, 30 plus ziggurat character. Ghost floors. Ghost floors are as bad as pan floors because very similar issues. You know, you have a bunch of enemies that have all sorts of fun and exciting toolkits at their disposal. What's worse about it, though, is all ghosts can fly, which means Shatter is not that great against them. Or I guess in general, I should just say Shatter's not that great against them. So you end up in a bit of a trickier spot. In fact, yeah, there we go. Look at that. Glaciate and Firestorm. Are you kidding me? Is that allowed? So, tit for tat, one Firestorm, or even potential Firestorm as it were, deserves another. blast ya. I'll bring out my Spellforge Servitor, and I have a sneaking suspicion that if there's any floor that gets us to completely turn tail, it's this one. And in fact, okay, I have 5 blinks. So the important question when you're doing a lot of these Zig floors is, at what point do you cut your losses? Because we can just blink through here. We'll probably get tons of blinks as we continue onwards. Sure, we'll be a little worse for wear going into the next floor, but as long as it's not just another ghost floor, that's probably fine. It's a little bit harder by my usual rules, because if there's an unrandart line around, I will 100% risk life and limb to try and pick it up, except for that one time, which I think I told this story a couple weeks ago on stream, that the crown of Deepro Viva or whatever is the one on Randart that I don't have on my latest Mega Zig character, and it's made me live to regret it ever since, really. But yeah, look at how huge this floor is. And just tons of ghosty pals. In fact, I should maybe try and get haste. Perfect. Lots of action. So much going on. And because we are more in the business of surviving than we are in the business of showing off here, we're just gonna leave. Do I dare? This is where I would risk life and limb 100%. Damnation is one of my other favorites, along with the thermic engine. I don't think we'll worry too much about it. Oh, Sigatuvi's Embrace is here too. That's a fun item. We wouldn't use it at all in this character at this stage, but very fun, very cool item. Well, just blink to the stairs. I mean, don't have that much scariness around us. We do have the Cursed Toe, which could bring in tons of friends. We do have this son of a gun that's going to start launching stuff at us. And we have the next floor to contend with, whatever fresh hell that may bring. So okay, we'll play it safe this time. Maybe in the future, we could always bring in a Mega Ziggurat character. I think Lucifer, we're happy to just get a 15 rune victory. It's been a long time since we managed to do so on our Felid named after Coville. So with that in mind, let's just keep going. Let's not worry too much about my weird idiosyncrasies here, and we'll instead just continue to plop our way through. Let's see what floor we get. Floor 24 here, good old 24. Merfolk Aquanier, I mean, I'd love to see it. Okay, it's gonna be a little more chaotic than that, actually. Is this like Abyss floor, maybe? Something like that? Hey, Cuddly Ray, how's it going? Thanks for the recent follow, I believe. Your name rings out to me. I think it was like last week, or in the past week sometime. But hello, regardless. And hey, Wizard, if you've already come in, maybe I never know how long to wait as a raid is coming in to make sure that the folks are actually here, specifically the streamer. But regardless, hello to anyone coming in. Hello to you, Wizard, if you are here. I hope that you had a fantastic stream. Ah, there you are. Hey, Wizard. How was your stream today? Hello, what Ziggurat are we on? This is just Ziggurat number 1. We're just gonna probably go through 1 on this character before just taking the win. Very much just a fun little victory lap before we head out with our 15 runes. We just finished off the 15 runes today. So finishing all of the Hell runes as well as Tomb. And it's been really really satisfying. I mean, we had a couple of pretty close calls in Dis, but otherwise super smooth, very happy with it. And you did just miss us going through a ghost floor as well. That was slightly terrifying for sure, just a smidge, but nothing we couldn't handle at the end of the day. And I feel like I'm kind of just pressing buttons at this point. I should probably, yeah, just use ignition. Blast through some folks. Do the good work for us here. Yeah, Cuddly, you've been trying to get me online for a while, never managed to until now. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. Always happy to see new faces, new names around. So welcome, welcome, and happy to have you, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Your patronage, as it were, to say it in a weird way, I guess. But happy to have you regardless. Yeah, Wizard, how's your stream? What were you up to today? I assume we're DCSS? What kind of character were you running? Character or characters, I guess. Depending on your, on how it went and what you were up to. How long the stream was, I guess. But okie dokes, let's just pick up the last little bit here. Just a few more ziggurat floors to go before we'll be on our merry way. Ooh, ranged weapon. Maybe I should have picked up the Damnation Arbalist there. Whoopsie daisies. But that is fine by me. We'll keep chugging experience. Feels weird, feels wrong to not be collecting them, but alas, alack, let's do it. Couple more floors to go. Is this... Ooh, lair? Now this is a lair floor. Okay. Very, very happy to go through a lair floor here. Your stream was good. You have 10 runes on a Spriggan Warper, but hell, we'll have to wait for tomorrow. Sounds like a good plan for sure, but nice. Congrats on getting that far. I don't think I've ever taken a Spriggan into Extended. How are you finding it? How does the Spriggan do? I mean, the speed is definitely nice. Lack of health, of course, is as much of an issue there as it is in most places of the game. I guess Torment, not quite as bad, but Damnation becomes a nightmare. And you're a Warper? Are you going with, like, a Transmutation style build, or... Yeah, I guess just more open-ended. What kind of character are you playing? And how's it going? Jeez, those are very productive ignitions, which just means a lifetime of going through view more screens. Which I feel like we might have talked about it in the past, but there are ways to like edit your game files so that you're not having to manually accept the see more as you go on. But I think there's something in my brain that just doesn't agree with that, because or not agree with it, that's too strong, but part of my brain that just holds on to not doing so, because there's something so satisfying when you're not in this kind of scenario, like when you're first casting ignition, or you know, when you first go into Vaults 5 and it's your kind of first time dealing with a huge swarm or a huge horde of enemies. It's so satisfying to step through that and to really feel that tangible effect of just nuking everything into orbit. But at a certain point, it becomes a little silly on characters like this, I do feel. But okay, 2 more floors to go. Let's see what we get. This is Zot floor, or just electrical. Maybe electrical is more of a fitting description. Obviously, a lot of overlap with Zot, seeing as how that is a pretty consistent enemy type that you do run into once you get to that stage in the game. Looking at all you Storm Dragons and Electric Golems, of course. But hey, not something that we are completely unable to deal with here, so we'll just firestorm our way through the vast majority of our new friends here, I feel. Maybe nuke some of the Spriggan Mages for airstriking, though. I have no real preferences one way or another here. Mostly just gonna slowly but surely murder our way through, or at least that's the plan. We'll see how it all goes down. I mean, hitting our like max regeneration very early in the encounter doesn't hurt. Definitely doesn't hurt. Fine Extend, not too bad for Spriggans, although Damnation is bad. Character's Dex-based TSO fighter with the Demon Warlock's Mirror. Ooh, very cool. That's actually something I've very little experience with, is going into Extended with non-caster characters. I've very, very often, sorry, more so always, go in with a character that's very much like this full blaster caster with just an absurd selection of spells by this stage in the game. So that would be very super interesting. I know one thing that I am very curious to try is to run a ranged user with the new range changes through extended. I think that that would be a lot of fun. It would be a nice shift from my usual routine for sure. And maybe that would be nicely suited for either Gozag, because I always go with Gozag. Never unhappy with that decision. But alternatively, what we could do there is go with like TSO is a lot of fun. Holy branded triple crossbow. See how that do, see how that feel. But there we go, not too shabby. Just one final floor for old time's sake. Let's get through it here.